What's up, everybody? It is me. I decided to do this even though I have some bright lights like right in my face. I decided to do this with like the lights off in my front room, so you could see my sweet purple lights. Picked these up a couple weeks ago at Spirit Halloween. I have some other. When I bought them, they said they were purple, but I bought them like 2 years ago, and so they're more like pink. So you can see the difference between the two sets of lights, right? Like how different they are. Um, I'm cool with that. I like pink as well. I don't look at it really as like pink, but it's to me it's kind of like a magenta. And before I got these lights, those look purple to me, right? Purple-ish. But either way. Um so the last couple videos I did my unboxing of Godzilla Minus One has over 800 views, which is pretty staggering to me, because I just made it like on the spot. I didn't even know if I was going to make it or not. So for those of you who watched it, and it was, I don't know, it was like 15 minutes or something like that, but it was a good length video. And I've been watching a lot of long form videos lately. Gabby Bell and Curtis Connor. I don't know how I just found them. And Coke Francis, or Queen Coke Francis, recently. Last couple of days, or like the last week. Actually, probably like the last 3 days. And like just going through a ton of their stuff. Back catalog of things. And their commentaries are really, really good. They're really funny in a lot of ways. I've actually, based on two videos from Curtis Connor, I sought out two horrible movies on Tubi and sat through them. One of them was an hour and a half long, and it felt like it was 3 hours long. Like it was really that bad. It was like The Room, but without the production value and the quality dialogue and the acting chops and the ability to understand what the lead actor was saying. Say what you will about Tommy Wiseau, he was, to my knowledge, he was never a youth pastor who fell in love with his 14-year-old charge and then married her when she became 18. So, that's neither here nor there about this video. Today, I kind of wanted, I haven't done one of these figure reviews in a while, and I actually just picked this up from Bookman's here in Tucson. I don't know why I went to Bookman's. I went to go pick up my books from Space Monkey Comics. I can just show you what I picked up really, really quick, because they're all blank covers. So for those of you who watch my channel, for those of you who've seen my art, might like my art, I've been picking up blank covers lately. And if you follow me on Instagram, which is at AntiHeroverse, all one word, of course, because it's Instagram, I just put up a Union Jack the Ripper red blank with jack-o'-lantern done purely with like Micron pen and Prisma, or not Prisma, a white gel pen, but a little bit of Micron pigment pen, and mostly done with a Pentel brush pen. And it's pretty phenomenal looking. I'm going to do a video where I show off some of those sketch covers. I was really worried about how the red cover would come across, because I use a lot of colors and have been playing with a lot of colors in my sketch covers and sketch cards lately, like doing a lot of the reflecting colors where you're not just getting just flesh tone, because that's how I used to do it. And I decided I wanted to like kind of push colors a little bit. Started doing that a little bit with my sketch cards of my kaiju. I did a couple of Something is Killing the Children cards, and I started doing some Chainsaw Man cards. The Chainsaw Man cards and the kaiju cards are People seem to like those a lot and have been picked up as well. So playing with that color, which I could do with this Dazzler, which would actually make a lot of sense because of the character being very colorful, very late 70s disco oriented, where you had like a lot of eye makeup and stuff like that. And plus the fact that she is able to turn sound into light constructs. I don't know if they're hard light constructs, like with the Green Lanterns. That would be an interesting thing to play with. I've never really read Dazzler books before. And as I show you that Dazzler book, I've got my YouTube on pause, watching a Gabby Bell video, and she's talking about GIJoe Siwa, and it's a picture of her with the like gaudy eye makeup, not unlike Dazzler. And then I picked up this Department of Truth, number 25, also a red cover. I did a Department of Truth book, or blank, that I got slabbed, which is the CM Punk, where he's holding up the bag, tell me when I'm telling lies promo. But I like the two red blanks that I've done. This is a slightly different shade of red. This is a much more blood-based red, or blood-ish based red, as you can see. A little bit deeper. This is a little bit more vibrant, a little brighter. The Union Jack the Ripper is actually from the Blood Hunt line. So they've been putting out some Blood Hunt blank covers. They did one for the Jubilee one-shot. They've done one for the Wolverine, which I did one of Omega Red. I will show that one off as well. That was all Micron pigment pens and a white gel pen. Just a little bit of white gel pen, and it popped it really, really well. Anyways, that's what I picked up at Space Monkey Comics. Also some interesting news about Space Monkey. Tony told me today, Tony Wolf, the owner of Space Monkey, was telling me that his offer for the space next door to him, he's in a strip mall, and they're in a smallish space right now, so it's a little hard to maneuver around when there's a lot of people in the shop. But there was a flooring company in the next space over, and he put in an offer with the owner, and the owner accepted it. So I think he said within the next few months they're actually gonna like bust down the wall and be able to move in and maybe not double their space, but they're gonna be able to build up a lot more space, which is going to mean the back issues are going to be sorted a little bit differently, which will be nice. And some more room for displays and being able to maneuver around a little bit more. I'm also like, not only is that cool that they're going to be able to open up more space, but you know what that means? That means they're doing well enough to be able to expand after just 2 years. That is phenomenal. In today's economy, for a business to have the plan in place that they have, that's the important thing, is the planning, right? Like, things have to alter and change as you go with anything that you do. Like, I never thought I was going to be doing like unboxings and stuff like that on YouTube. I'm not getting hits or views, so it doesn't really matter. I'm basically just doing this for my own amusement. But it's really awesome to hear that a local business that's been supportive of not just me, but other indie creators, and hosting some really good events that have given like some spotlight to indie creators and some small vendors who sell comics, art, 3D printed merch, crocheted pieces, crafted pieces. Myself, I was selling retail comics. Free Comic Book Day was the first time that I wasn't selling comics that were not like the Bubba Patrol and Welcome to Pleasant Falls and like my own original artwork and things like that. I was selling those previously, but that was the first time at Space Monkey recent events that I wasn't selling any of my old stock or anything. Still picking up books here and there to see what I can do and like flip and stuff like that. But I don't want to go back into doing what I was doing before. Towards the end, I was having fun because I didn't care anymore. And I just was just like, let's just get rid of as much of this as possible. And let's just have fun on the way out kind of thing. And I don't want to get stuck in this idea of, I have to profit and I have to make money. No, I have to figure out a way to make more money. Of course, we all do. So I've been picking up blank covers and doing sketch cards and sketch covers. I'm hoping to be able to get more commissions because that's really how you make money. And I'm figuring out ways to make that a little bit easier on myself so that I'm not constantly overthinking and overanalyzing what I'm drawing for somebody. So just doing either sketch cards where I can only fit so much of a character on it, simple enough, or doing head sketches or busts on like sketch covers. And I think that's really, really good because it's really going to cut down on a lot of my overthinking and anxiety, but it's also going to help people because they'll be able to get those pieces a lot quicker. And I feel like the quality's going to be better because I'm not overthinking it. It makes it easier for me, but I believe it's also going to deliver a higher quality for those individuals. I'm doing remarks like I think it was the GIJoe one that I posted on here a week or so ago that kind of shows you what those remarks are going to look like for $25. If you're buying it in conjunction with one of the books, I knock it down to $20. So if you pick up Fuzzy Face, which is $10, or you pick up Welcome to Pleasant Falls, which is $10, and you want a remark on it, you would pay $30 total plus the $5 shipping. Or if you pick up a single issue of the Bubba Patrol, it's either $5 or $10, depending on what the book, if it's a variant or regular cover, and then you'd be paying $20 on top of that for the remark. And kind of, I guess I wouldn't say I stole it from Chrissy Zullo, but I saw her doing a remark video, and she lays down the white base coat first, which helps keep the imagery that's underneath the remark from like coming through and all the lines and everything. And a lot of my previous remarks were showing that unless it was on like a very blank portion of the cover. So it's helping me out in a couple of different ways and like watching tutorials and videos and stuff. And also just kind of, it's been fun doing some of these red sketch covers, the Omega Red and the Jack-o'-lantern. It's just really fun, really base, because it's all line work. Like shading is not really brought into it too much other than some cross hatching on the Omega Red piece. And I'll probably shoot another video directly after this one showing those pieces off. But the reason I'm here 13 minutes into the video is to kind of review this Shipwreck figure, which I picked up at Bookman's. I also picked up a Copperhead figure as well. The interesting thing about this Shipwreck figure, together combined, Shipwreck and the Copperhead were $25. I had trade, so it didn't really bother me at all. The Shipwreck figure, I mean, I've popped both of these now, but the Shipwreck figure was busted open on the bottom. It was nice, the people at the trade counter, they opened up the box and they made sure that all the pieces were there. And of course, all the pieces are here, including his hair. So Shipwreck comes with everything you see here, hair included. Really, really cool figure. I had the 3 3/4 inch figure. I can't tell you which tattoo version I had because there were they've shown that there were 2 different tattoo versions. I don't know if one was released first or they did 2 different tattoo versions and they released both of them. You got a nice little, what is that? Like is that a shark or that looks like a catfish. Interesting. So he comes with 2 areas where you can stick Polly. I know that sounds terrible. So Polly comes with And I don't know if this was the case with Polly, because the 3 3/4 inch figure had like his feet were like that, so you could latch him on to the wrist where there was like the armband on Shipwreck. However, Polly appears to have a peg leg. Now, the peg goes into one of two spots, as you can see. But if Polly were to have 2 legs, then you could have just made that green and then just had the peg on one of them so it looked like he could sit there, right? Or she. I don't know if Polly's a boy or girl. Polly's a parrot. So just like the original 3 3/4 inch Shipwreck, you have the peg hole here so Polly can sit on his wrist. But then there is also a peg hole in the rope. Now, the neat thing is all of this is pretty much the same as the 3 3/4 inch figure. Again, Hasbro, would it kill you to put the damn file card on there? Reprint the original file card and just slap this artwork on there. It's not difficult. Collectors like me want that shit. It's not extra printing for you because you're printing on the back already. Or better yet, print on the inside of the box, and then I can still cut that out. You might end up selling even more figures. Why? Because there's people like me who are going to open these and cut them out. And then there's other people who will buy 2 figures, one to cut them out and take them out and display them, and the other one to hang up on a wall or put in a box and hopefully that it's worth something in, 15, 20 years. I don't care. These things are cool, right? Okay, so back to the story. He comes with the line of rope. And one of the neat things is on the back, he's got that hook, right? So you can take the hook that goes on his it's not his sidearm, but like he's got the hook to be able to hang on there. And then you can put the hook back here, which is kind of sailory, I guess. He's got his grappling hook for grappling. So you can then put it right here next to his flintlock pistol, which is kind of an interesting thing. Now, this was the only weapon that the 3 3/4 inch figure came with, was the flintlock pistol. Unless I lost the regular pistol, which is a very distinct possibility. He's got the regular pistol, regular sidearm right here. The really cool thing, again, about a lot of these figures is that they're able to carry all their accessories at the same time, right? Whether you've got the grappling hook on the back or whether you put the grappling hook on the side hook on his pants belt loop. Now, he's got a peg hole in the back, so you can put a backpack on him at a later time. I do like that the rope doesn't sit in the peg hole, because it's kind of nice that you can adjust it. It would be up a little high for Polly to be able to sit right on his shoulder. Personally, I like Polly on his shoulder better than Polly on his wrist, and I will show you why. So on the box, they have Polly facing outward, which actually makes sense, right? Because if you do it this way, Polly's not really facing Shipwreck. Polly is facing outward. And, can you see that right there? Yeah, right here. Polly's arm, or his claws, are going to be right on the forearm. And bird claws, they have large talons. And the large talons would dig into your arm. I don't care how tough you are, that's going to hurt after a while. So if you put them facing outward, like they have on the box, it's still a little awkward because you've got to bring him up like this. And I don't know a lot of people who hold their arms like this. Actually, now that I do it, it's really not that bad. But see, we're learning with these videos. It's educational as well. So then Polly like sits facing outward, as long as you get the arm, just right. So Polly's not sitting at a weird angle. So that kind of works as well. But if Shipwreck is going to be holding a firearm, you could have Polly on his shoulder, on the rope. But yeah, I don't know if the story is that Polly has a peg leg. I don't remember in the cartoon if that's the case or not. Because, yeah, it is very clearly yellow or brown. And that very well might be the leg that doesn't have the feathers on it. But then when you see the other leg, it is very clearly green. So maybe they were doing something like a peg leg? I don't know. His boots are extremely detailed. I like that a lot. Those are definitely combat boots and deck boots. You are going to get that rubber grip sole on them and like the breathable paneling, which is kind of nice. And just touching them right now, you can feel the texture on them. The original Shipwreck had really, really like big bell bottoms, like the more traditional sailor garb from back in the day, uniform from back in the day. But they look more like functional uniform, right? These look like not jeans, but material that's going to weather a lot of work, because when you're on the boat, you're moving around. If you're, working on the deck itself, you're going to be subject to a lot of extreme weather conditions, water, wind, all kinds of stuff like that. Salt water, nonetheless. You also get a little bit of that wear on the thighs, which I don't know if that's just a weird paint job, but it is a little distracting. And I realized that if you were working a lot on the deck, your pants would probably wear and fade a little bit. But being that you're in the military, they would probably order you to get brand new pants or have enough that you could change out of stuff like that, because there's certain regulations. But it's GIJoe. They're like an elite strike force squad. They're not traditional military, so, whatever. I like the detail on this. He's got another tattoo of the anchor on his other arm. I think he only had one tattoo originally, and one was an anchor and one was like a fish or something along those lines. One of the cool things about this figure is everything was molded previously on the 3 3/4. He's got a sailor hat here, but you can put just his scruffy mop top on, so he can be without his sailor hat. Which actually, if you think about it, makes sense, because in the military, when you go inside, you take your hat off. If you've never noticed that before, the next time you see somebody in uniform and they're out in like a parking lot or outside and they come inside, they always take their hat off right when they step inside, or they're supposed to. If they're not, don't say anything about it unless you are their commanding officer, because it's none of your business. I was in the urgent care, was it last year or the year before, and somebody from Davis-Monthan started walking in, and I was just like, it doesn't look like he's taking his hat off. But he waited until he got inside and took one step inside, and he took his hat off. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's the way it works. So when you see these movies when, like, the colonel is, like, inside in his office and he's just walking around wearing his hat, like, it's actually against regulation to do that. So several people in the military or who are formerly in the military have told me. Otherwise, 25 minutes into this, what do I give this Shipwreck figure? What are they saying? Like S level, A, B, C, and F, or something like that. I'm not a real YouTuber anyway, so I'm not going to use S tier. I'm just going to use traditional grades, A, B, C, D, and F. But if you think about it, what happened to the E's, right? A, B, C, D, E, F. When I was in college, I got a couple of E's, and I asked the TA, I was just like, what does this E mean? And in front of the entire class, very, very loudly, she said, oh, it means you failed. And I'm like, all right, you could have just like kind of leaned in and said that, not make me feel like an asshole in front of everybody. But cool. That was 28 years ago? Jesus Christ. Anyways. Yeah, I would give this Shipwreck, I would give him I'm going to give him an A minus. The weird peg leg thing with the bird, I don't know if that's the lore has changed or anything like that. It's a little weird. That is pretty much the only downside, and it's not even really a downside because you've got to be able to make Polly fit on there, right? And you just heard a figure fall off of my BTAS display, and let me see who it was. So Batman fell over and he knocked friggin' Scarecrow off. For whatever reason, I had the New Adventures of Batman and Robin Batman that I got used on eBay. All of his leg joints are loose, except for his knees. Like his hip joints and his ankles, he can't stand up and he falls over. So you need something to prop him up, but he's got a molded cape, so you need something to go up under that cape to hold him in place. Otherwise, he constantly fucking falls over. This Batman is the earlier version, the original version, but it's the McFarlane Toys BTAS Batman. Same moldings and everything, looks exactly the same as the original. It's got a soft goods cape. Still doesn't want to stand up. And for whatever reason, this time around, McFarlane Toys didn't feel it necessary to give little fucking stands for the figures, so he keeps fucking falling over. The only one who stands upright so far is Robin, and you want to know why? It's because that boy becomes Nightwing, and Dick Grayson is the man. That's the end of this rant. A minus because of the weird thing with Polly's peg leg foot, and then the weird paint job right here to, I guess, simulate, wear on the thighs of the pants. But this is a really cool figure. I liked him. Like them a lot. I'm glad I found them and found them for $12. So that was a treat as well. All right. If you do collect G.I. Joe Classifieds, what's your favorite G.I. Joe Classifieds figure? Either G.I. Joe or Cobra. And if you like both, which is your favorite from both series? And if you don't, and you watch the old G.I. Joe cartoon or read the old comic books, who is your favorite G.I. Joe character from the classic, great, real American hero line? See you later.